Hello, I'm Tom Wilkinson, and welcome to the Thinking in English podcast, a podcast aimed at intermediate to advanced level English learners. On today's episode, we will discuss the fastest people in human history and think about what the future holds for mankind's speed. Thinking in a foreign language is a vital step on the road to fluency, and this podcast aims to help you achieve this by discussing various topics, ranging from current events to science, philosophy, economics, and much more. But first, here is today's vocabulary list. Please check the description of the podcast for today's written vocabulary list. Charitable. Charitable. Giving money, food, or help free to those who are in need. For example, the entire organization is funded by charitable donations. Relative. Relative. If something is relative to something else, it changes according to the speed or level of the other thing. So, for example, the amount of petrol a car uses is relative to its speed. To rocket. To rocket. To travel by rocket, or to rise, increase, or move very quickly. For example, the astronauts were rocketed into space. Mach. Mach. A measurement of speed that is calculated by dividing the speed of an object, especially an aircraft, by the speed of sound. Circumnavigate. Circumnavigate. To travel the whole way around something. For example, he circumnavigated the globe in 80 days. To dub. To dub. To give something or someone a particular name, especially describing what you think of it, him, or her. For example, she was dubbed by the newspapers the Angel of Death. To ratify. To ratify. To make an agreement official. Many countries have now ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. To clock. To clock. To take a particular time exactly to do or complete something. For example, he clocked 10 seconds in the 100 meters race. And finally, ramp up. Ramp up. To increase activity or the level of something. For example, the company announced plans to ramp up production to 10,000 units per month to meet demand. Over the weekend, the 2020 London Marathon was held in the streets of the UK capital. Unlike previous years, where thousands of amateur runners would line up to test themselves physically and often for charitable reasons, the ongoing pandemic forced the event to be reserved exclusively for some of the world's best professional runners. Kenyan athlete Bridget Kosgei won the female event after 2 hours and 18 minutes of racing, while Ethiopian runner Shura Kitata was victorious in the men's, finishing in a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes and 41 seconds. World record holder Eliud Kipchoge, who currently holds both the official marathon world record of 2 hours, 1 minute and 39 seconds, and the unofficial record of 1 hour, 59 minutes and 40 seconds set last year in a one-off event run under special conditions, finished a surprising 8th place. Watching high-level athletes compete and seeing them run at such incredible speeds made me think, who is, was, or will be the fastest human ever? Is there a limit to our species' running ability? This is not a simple question. What do I mean by fastest? Is the fastest human determined by their top speed, the highest miles per hour or kilometers per hour, or by the time taken to travel between two distances? This is how we have come to measure and test speed in our modern sporting world. Just think about the 100 meters, 200 meters, 1500 meters, and marathons. But what distance should be considered correct for measuring the fastest human? And moreover, Olympic-level athletics is a highly controlled environment. Perfect running surfaces, excellent equipment, and limited wind resistance. But surely the fastest human could also mean the fastest to run over hills or around certain obstacles. Firstly, let's start by thinking of the fastest humans ever. The crew of NASA's Apollo 10 moon mission reached a top speed of 24,791 miles per hour, or 39,897 kilometers per hour, relative to Earth as they rocketed back to our planet on May 26, 1969. This is the fastest speed ever traveled by a human, and surely qualifies that crew as the fastest people ever. How about in the air of planet Earth? That record belongs to the US Air Force's X-15 jet, which reached speeds of Mach 6.72, or 4,520 miles per hour. At that speed, you could circumnavigate the entire globe in just over 100 minutes. On land, the fastest human being ever was British Royal Air Force pilot Andy Green, who broke the sound barrier by reaching 760 miles per hour in a British-built jet-propelled car dubbed the Thrust SSC. All of these speeds were, of course, reached with the help of machines. Natural human speed is far slower than anything here. And although Andy Green, for instance, has travelled faster than any other person on the surface of our planet, very few people would describe him as the fastest person ever. Then, how about Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt? The former multiple-time world and Olympic champion over 100 meters and 200 meters is many people's answer for the fastest human ever. His 100-meter record of 9.58, set in 2009, must be the fastest time ever, right? Well, actually, not quite. The unpopular answer is, in fact, Justin Gatlin. In 2011, he ran the 100 meters in 9.45 seconds, the fastest time a human has ever run that distance, smashing Usain Bolt's best time by a massive 0.13 seconds. The controversial US athlete was being pushed along the track by a huge 20 meter per second tailwind. The limit for a time to be ratified as a record is only 2 meters. And Bolt's time has also been challenged by people running down steep hills. Furthermore, why is 100 meters the distance considered fastest in the world? Christopher Coleman, for instance, holds the 60-meter world record in a time faster than Bolt's. In fact, when Bolt set 2 new world records for the 100 meters and 200 meters at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, his 200 meters took him 19.3 seconds, less than twice the time of his 100 meters. This means that on average, he was running faster in the longer event. Despite challenges to Usain Bolt on time, he does still hold an important record. The fastest human foot speed was recorded between 60 and 80 meters in Bolt's world record 100 meters. He was clocked at 44.6 kilometers per hour, or 27.8 miles per hour. In terms of pure speed, Bolt is currently the fastest human ever recorded. But what is the maximum speed possible for a human? Well, according to scientists, the human frame is built to handle running speeds of up to 40 miles per hour, almost 60 kilometers per hour. The only limiting factor is not how much force is required to push off the ground, but how fast our muscle can contract to ramp up that force. So, in theory, it might be physically possible for someone to run faster than Usain Bolt, and even reach speed similar to that of dogs and horses. So here is today's final thought. Usain Bolt must be the fastest person to ever live so far, right? No one else could ever have reached such similar speeds. And although someone in the future might do so, at this very moment, Bolt must be the fastest person ever. Wrong again. Many prehistoric Australian Aboriginals could have outrun world 100 and 200 meters record holder Bolt in modern conditions. These conclusions about the speed of Australian Aboriginals 20,000 years ago are based on a set of footprints preserved in a fossilized clay lake. And an analysis of these footprints, T8, shows he reached speeds of 37 kilometers per hour on a soft, muddy lake edge. Bolt, by comparison, reached speeds of 42 kilometers per hour during his then world 100 meters record of 9.69 seconds at the Beijing Olympics. So T8 was only 5 kilometers slower than Usain Bolt without any modern training, modern nutrition, even shoes. So, will we see humans in the future achieve such naturally high speeds again? What do you think? Here are today's comprehension questions. Please check the answers in the description below. In what position did marathon world record holder Eliud Kipchoge finish in the 2020 London Marathon? In what year did the Apollo 10 mission reach the fastest speed ever recorded in human history? What country did T8 come from? Thank you for listening to today's episode of Thinking in English. Share with your friends, check out our social media links in the description, and send us a message. We appreciate all of your feedback and all of your constructive criticism. If you have any ideas for future topics, podcast guests, or other learning formats, please let us know. And of course, please leave us a rating. Thank you, and see you next time.